everybody, this is Dan for GemmyD on Cars. Now, I am back here at Click Lewis Chevy Buick in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. I haven't been here for a few months. Now, I have sort of free reign of all the used cars that they get and say, hey, I might be interested in doing a review on that. And that is where this car came from. This is a 2018 Audi A5 Sportback. Now, this is essentially the four-door, sleeker version of the Audi A4. It has the same internals, same motor, same transmission and everything. But I just think this is a really attractive car. And there really isn't much market for this size car. There is the BMW 4 Series Grand Coupe, which is essentially the same thing, the sexier sedan version of the BMW 3 Series. But I haven't ever driven one of these, and it looks exactly like my wife's car, the Audi Q5. You know, same engine, same transmission, but it has a nice, sleek sedan body. We're gonna take a look at the A5. We're gonna get it out on the road. So let's take a look at the A5 Sportback. Now, this car has a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with 252 horsepower, 273 foot-pounds of torque, which is exactly the same as my wife's car. So I'm pretty familiar with this engine, but this also has the 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. And, you know, there are bigger cars with more competition, the Audi A7, which competes with like the CLS, Mercedes, and the BMW 8 Series. But there just isn't too much competition in this class. Like I mentioned, the only really thing in the class is the BMW 4 Series Grand Coupe. Mercedes doesn't make a sort of sleeker version of the C-Class. Alfa Romeo doesn't really make a sleeker version of the Giulia. They only really just have the sedan. So there's a couple things that set this car apart. I just think it looks fantastic. It has all the typical Audi styling, but this is a big car. It's like you have the coupe version of the A5, but now this one you lose a little bit of space in the back right there compared to the A4, but I think it looks way better than the Audi A4, which is the typical, you know, compact sports sedan. So, all right, let's talk about the styling. Now, this car is finished in the Daytona Gray Pearl, which I think looks really good. And now, this is not one of the higher trims. It's not the Premium Plus or the Prestige, because you don't have the navigation system. You have the little bit smaller wheels. Now, this is the second generation A5 Sportback, the first for the Sportback, but there was a previous generation A5 Coupe. But I just think Audi continues their trend, and this is a 2018, so it's 3 years old. But they just continue the trend of just simple, subtle looking cars that just look fantastic. Now, you've got the LEDs in the front right there that always look good. It really looks like the cousin of like an R8. But there's their signature Audi grille right there. But just the lines of this car look really good. It actually has the frameless windows. If you open the door, it just goes up there. There's no top right there. And you've got the same panoramic sunroof up top. But yeah, this just looks like a more attractive version of the A4. Now, like I said before, Audi always does like sort of subtle looking styling, but they really go sort of crazy with the lights. And these are all LED. You've got the Quattro all-wheel drive. There's the 2-liter badge right there. But I do think this is a better looking car than the BMW 4 Series Grand Coupe. That is an attractive car also, but I just think, I don't know how this works a little bit better. You can see that sort of hips jutting out right there. Audi always does really well with the taillights and headlights. You got the 2 tailpipes right there. So what you lose in, you know, space in the back of the car, you make up for it in the overall styling of the car. So as far as the execution goes, I really like it. But it's just weird too, as I talk about it. There's just not that much in the segment of this, just this and the BMW, and I would prefer this over the BMW. Now, before we go into the inside, I forgot to mention that this is actually a hatchback. Now, what you do lose in space, headroom space in the back, you gain in the trunk. There's just a one touch right there. Now, this is huge. This is the one good thing about my buddy Will's S7. That is the bigger car, but these trunks are just absolutely massive. You got a nice little tonneau cover right there, but this is a legitimately huge trunk. And let's say you couldn't put anything a little bit taller, but it's just so wide and so deep. That's just really nice feature to have. So, all right, now let's take a look at the engine real quick. Just one touch up here. Boom. Now here's the engine, like I said. Now this is Volkswagen Group and Audi's most popular engine by far. This is the 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, and big props to Audi for doing the hydraulic lifts. That's how you know you're really dealing with a luxury car company. But yeah, and what I read about this car, the performance feels like it's more than just a 2-liter 4-cylinder. And me having this engine in my wife's car, it is a very strong engine, you know, being small at 2 liters, but plenty of power. The dual clutch transmission is amazing. It's just a good engine all around. So, all right, let's check out the inside. All right, now we're gonna go to the inside of the A5. Now this is an S-line trim. It says on the door right there. So that means just a couple different styling cues, but this interior is definitely a mix of cars that come before my wife's car and after it. This is sort of like in the middle of the life cycle. Now this car was updated, I think, for 2019 or 2020, but this car shows its age just a little bit, but the layout is still very nice. Now these gauges sort of look similar to my buddy Will's S7, meaning that it's sort of a previous generation type setup. This car does not have the virtual cockpit setup that has the all digital screen, and it has a screen that's a little bit smaller there too. That is only a 7-inch screen. But up here, this looks like my wife's current car. The sort of HVAC controls right there. That is what my wife's 2018 Q5 looked like. Now this is a 2018 A5, and this is just a little bit different too. Still nice to use. Now I always like the stubby little gear selector right here, but you could control this with your hand. So let's just start it up. I want to get the air going because it is warm outside. So not having the virtual cockpit is, I think if you were in the market for an A5 or an A5 Sportback, you definitely have to get the virtual cockpit. That is absolutely my favorite thing about my wife's car. Not to say these gauges are bad, but like this is like the gauge setup of what like a 2010 like Audi R8 looks like. Just has the 2 circles and then over there. It's just evolved as the years get on. But this looks current. These are very nice to use. You got heated seats, everything. This click wheel is easy to use in your hand. That's just how you go over everything. I prefer a click wheel myself as opposed to a touchscreen. But then this was the start of the trend when Audi started to do the vents that went the whole way across, and I think that's sort of a nice touch. It just sort of doesn't break it off right there. But this wood, this is like that open pore wood that Audi uses. It looks fantastic. I might actually prefer a wood a little bit lighter since this is a black interior. Now these seats are very comfortable, and you've still got the silver trim on the side, and this wood is just amazing. I really, really like it. But yeah, other than that, the steering wheel is sort of like the previous generation cars too. And like I said, this year, 2018, they were sort of stuck sort of in the middle to the end of the life cycle, meaning that it was going to be refreshed soon after that. And I can flash a picture of what like a 2020 A5 looks like. That is radically changed, just a little bit different and updated, but still, you still have on the display right there, you can control different things. Your gas, yes, please refuel, I will. 80s on 8, your radio. Now this car, it's funny, this car being in 2018, it does not have a navigation system. That would be sort of a deal breaker to me, because when I had the virtual cockpit, that is just amazing when it fills up the whole screen. You've got a little bit of storage down here. I don't think you're lacking anything other than the nav screen and the virtual cockpit. The layout and the quality of the materials is there. You still have a panoramic sunroof right there with the sunshade. Now we're fighting some rain today, so I hope I can get this in before I'm done. There's the back seat right there. So the quality is here. This is typical Audi materials, which is very nice. I actually love the feeling of this seat. You've got a couple driving controls now. They put this in dynamic. You can go comfort, auto, individual, or dynamic. We'll try that when we get down the road. So this car has about $28,000, and I'm not even sure what the price of this is. I will flash the price of this car on the screen, but I think this could be a really nice sports sedan if you don't want something that's absolutely huge, but you still want something that has a little bit of space. I don't know, maybe you put your kids or your dogs in the back seat. Now the A5, normal A5 coupe, would look identical to this in every way. It's just this body style is a little bit different, and I prefer the look of the Sportback as opposed to the coupe. Yeah, there's 2 cup holders. So yeah, the material's there. I really like the styling of the inside of this car. It's just nice. Although I would prefer to have the virtual cockpit. All right, let's check out the back seat. All right, we're going to the back seat of the A5, where I think it is gonna be a little bit tight. Now I have this seat where I was, and you've got some convenient little holes for your legs right here, but yeah, this is tight. Now being in the back seat here, the A5, you lose a little bit of headroom compared to the A4, but this is still not too bad. I got a couple inches there. Someone being 6 feet like me, you probably wouldn't want to spend too much time back here, but you still have the same beautiful wood on the doors and the silver trim and the leather back here. I mean, this is a luxury, a premium luxury vehicle. So it's comfortable back here. I like the look of the open and airy sort of sunroof right there. And you can get a good look at the layout of the front there. You lose a little bit of headroom in the back, but you gain some room in the back, being that it is a hatchback. So I think that's sort of an equal trade-off right there. I think I still would prefer this over the A5 coupe. So now this car actually exists as like a result of like these German companies trying to fill every possible little niche, and it's kind of weird that Mercedes doesn't have a competitor. It's really just this and the BMW, like I said a few times. I guess you either choose a car of this size or you bump up a size to have like either the A6 or the A7 or like the 5 Series or the 8 Series. So this car, I think, is a valuable proposition. I would assume it's about under $30,000. So this could be lots of fun. If you're someone that doesn't totally care about all the technology with the virtual cockpit and the navigation system, maybe you use your phone anyway. This could be a really cool car for someone that likes to have a stylish car that is decently quick. You're not going to light the world on fire like the RS5 with the twin turbo V6. Yeah, this 2-liter 4-cylinder will last forever, and that's what I'm hoping it does for my Q5. Touched on it just a little bit. Now, if you're watching this video, you can buy this car from Click Lewis Chevy Buick. I will put their website right here. Come in, check it out, maybe make an offer. I think this could be a really solid and fun sports sedan with the added versatility and practicality of the Sportback. I would take this over a couple other cars in the segment, like the BMW 4 Series. And there's a Chevy Camaro ZL1. That sounded really good. I just heard it coming in. So big thank you to Click Lewis Chevy Buick. Haven't been here in a few months. Hope to come back to do a couple more reviews. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think about the A5 Sportback. I think this would be a really fun car, period. I like it a lot. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at GemmyD on Cars, where you can see the cars that I review before they get posted to YouTube. So now we're going to get this thing out on the road. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.